Welcome to our episode 12 of our Wednesday webinar. This is the I in Infinite Campus stands for identity. I would like to introduce you all to Russell Jones, Heather McCarty, and William Owen, three of our regional program managers who are going to be sharing their expertise with you all today. As usual, please put any questions that you have in the comments or in the chat box. And Katie Morse and myself will be monitoring those to make sure that those get answered. And we will be having some breakouts throughout this session, so you're going to have the opportunity to chat with your fellow coordinators, your colleagues. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to you guys. I'm not sure who's going first.
All right, I get the privilege of going first. I'm going to actually stop my video. I've been having some problems with Zoom this morning, and things are working a little bit better without my video. So I'm going to switch off video just for a second. Let's see if I can. There we go. All right. Just like Melissa Newton said, we'd just like to thank you guys for coming into this Infinite Campus edition of Webinar Wednesday. Heather, Russell, and myself are all RPMs. Heather's Region 2, Russell's Region 9, and I'm Region 1. We'll be your facilitators today. And just a special thank you to Melissa Newton and Greg Gunn. They're our training specialists, but they helped set up the program, and they'll be handling all this tech support today. So we really appreciate all the hard work that they put in. So we'll go on to the next slide. All right. What are your expectations for today's training? We want to get interactive. So utilizing the chat section on the count of 3, I just want you to flood the chat with your expectations for the training. Our hope is these prospects will guide this short but informative presentation. So 1, 2, 3, go ahead and just flood the chat. Just give us your expectations, what you think. Okay, learn how to use Infinite Campus features properly. Learn, exactly. Need some training hours. I see that. I understand how to effectively document and print reports for group programming. Learn with some exclamation points. I like that. Some quick tips. Okay, improve IC skills. Definitely, we can all improve on that. Learn more about it. Show some shortcuts and how to maneuver in Infinite Campus. Okay, good deal, good deal. And you guys can continue to do that, but we're going to go ahead and move on for the sake of time. So who are we? All right, we are probably the best and probably the last remaining piece of the Kentucky Education Reform Act of 1990. We're also known as those tireless crusaders for the well-being of our students across the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And last but not least, we are FRYSC. And the motto we live by and the phrase that defines us is whatever it takes.
So thank you, William, for introducing everything here. And we also want to thank Katie Morris for being with us today too. She's running some of the tech stuff with us. And you know, so many times we look and we say, what is it that, you know, how many times have you ever heard that question? You know, what is it you do here? What is it that you do? What kind of things you have? And with that, if you see, this is some pictures of some previous coordinators from Region 9, or a previous coordinator. You'll see some pictures as we go through it. You know, how many times have you ever been asked that question? Why do you always have fast food with you? Or why are you getting to go to eat? And I have to stay here at school. You know, what are some other things? You know, what is it that you do here? What are the things that you do? You know, are you the keeper of the underwear? Are you the one that's what you do? That's your job, is you're just the keeper of the underwear? So, you know, do you work here? You know, how many times have you had that? I've had that question so many times when I was a coordinator. I was like, do you still work here? I don't ever see you. You're never at this, and this. You don't have duty. You don't have this. Why are you still here? So in the chat, you know, as we look, I want you to tell me. Yeah, Raquel. Yeah, I sit and wait for somebody to spill milk on themselves. That's all you do all day. I mean, that's all y'all do, right? And that's the only thing that's going on. What I want you to do is I want you to type in the chat for me. What is the strangest thing you have ever been asked for? What is the strangest like item that you have been asked for? So 1, 2, 3, type them in the chat, whatever it is. Borax. Oh, nice. Nail clippers. Advice. Nice. Dishwasher. Buy cigarettes. Most pregnancy tests. Razors. Y'all get some interesting stuff going on during this. Somebody said something about the pandemic. Nah, I missed it. Extra cap and gown. OxyClean. Fingernail polish. We do laundry. Yeah, of course. Yeah, everybody does laundry. Yeah, we do laundry now too. I don't know why y'all wouldn't do that. Buying routers, funeral flowers. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. See, we look at it all the time because of the next thing, scales, cell phone bills, a car. Now listen, that is actually a crazy thing because that, you know, many years ago, the story is somebody tried that once upon a time. So I don't necessarily know that we can do a car, but you know, we'll just kind of move from there. That's why it's in the contract that says you can't buy a car and in the guidebook. So we'll move on to the next thing because y'all are just the on-site Walmart. So the next thing, what is it that you do here? So as you look at it, are you the USS Bank of FRYSC? Is that your name? So again, in the chat, what's the strangest thing you've been asked to buy? What's the strangest thing somebody from your school's ever asked you to buy? And some of these may be some of the same similar things. Campsites, birth certificates, all those kind of things. That's all stuff that you guys have been asked to buy. It's all things that are there. Teachers' lunches, yeah, a podium. There's all kinds of things that y'all are getting asked to buy. Mattress covers, birthday cards. Now, if you're buying them for kids, you might be able to do that, but I don't know about buying birthday cards for, you know, whomever we want to buy a birthday card for. But, you know, gas, these things. Chair massagers, that's a nice one. Chair massages for teacher appreciation. I played with money. Y'all got some funny stuff here. And this is what we expected when we heard this, because y'all are asked to buy the most crazy things that you could ever possibly imagine. You're just, some of this stuff is just, some things get crazy when you go to look at them. But there's some other things as we look. So what is it that you do here? You know, don't you just wait for kids' flip-flops to break or for them to go step in the mud and just have to go run through the mud, or you got ketchup on your shirt, or can't tie, you know, you came out of the bathroom, can't tie your shoe, you know, that's what you do here, right? That's what your job is. So I think we got another picture we want you to see, and, you know, what is it that you do here? And I mean, obviously, I think everybody knows what she's doing. My head itches. I think you guys have kind of become the keeper of all things that crawl and all things that bite and all things that are, you know, running all over creation. It seems to be that y'all are the ones that seem to be coming in charge of doing that. So I think we have a problem. I think we have a problem, and I think we have a perception problem. I think we have a perception problem in the fact that people don't necessarily know what we do. A lot of times people think, like was said in the comments, I just sit in my office and wait on somebody to spill something on themselves. You know, I think we have a problem. If that's the way people think, we genuinely have some sort of issue. So why are we misperceived? Why is there a misperception? And what can we do about it? What can we do about those very things?
Okay, my turn. Thank you, Russell. Hope y'all can hear me okay. Thank you for the introduction too, William. Okay, so the power of perception. I wanted to share, and I'm running the PowerPoint as well, that a lot of people see what they are looking for, and people tend to judge us by what they want to see instead of what we really do. And so how can we change the perception of who we are and educate others in our school and communities about what we do? And I wanted to share a story with you from my predecessor, Diane Arnett. And some of you may have heard this if you're on today and you're from Region 2, but she shared something with us one time at a regional meeting, and it stuck with me for years and years. But I know a lot of us have storage in different parts of our school building, maybe not just in our office. So maybe you're walking to and from your storage building or storage room 5 or 6 times a day. So instead of it looking like you're just walking up and down the hall because of teachers or other staff, see you walking around all the time, they may think, what is she doing all day? Or what is he doing all day? I just see him walking around the halls. But in fact, you're working really hard and you're going to your storage room and you're doing things for families. So Diane told us one time, she said, carry around a clipboard with you at all times. Carry around a notepad with you at all times. So it looks like you're prepared for if a teacher or someone comes to you with information, or you look like you have a purpose. So that stuck with me, and I started doing that. And it did make me feel like I had a purpose more as a coordinator, and people knew that I was busy and that I was doing things. And also they would catch you and say, I have a concern about this student. Well, you're able to write that down and keep that information and that documentation for Infinite Campus. And also another thing that I think that we can do to help change our perception and to help educate others in our school building, if you have a program for families and parents, include that information in an email the next day, thanking your volunteers or thanking your staff for helping, and letting them know that you had 20 parents or 20 students attend your reading night or your math night. That way they're seeing the email. They may just read it and delete it, but at least they're learning more about what you do, and that you're not just in your office waiting for a change of clothes for a student. And so our solution to help change our perception is Infinite Campus. So it's a way that we can quantify the work that we do on a daily basis. The data then gives us strong talking points, because IC is there for us because it is verifiable and consistent data. And that's why the Infinite Campus program was created. And this makes for great information for legislators, because that is who is funding our program. So share your IC data with your advisory council, with your site base, with your administration, with your community partners, and any other stakeholders for your center. Can anyone, real quick, going back, can anyone else give us some ideas in the chat about who else we can share our data with? Any other ideas? Would love to hear some ideas from coordinators about who else we can. Parents, great. Local government, wonderful. Yes, I love that. Sharing it with our parents and our local government. Community partners, community members. Yes, school board for sure. I put it in a report for the school board every month. Donors, team lead teachers. Thank you. That's great, everyone. Thank you for including that. Okay, some other information we're going to go over. And Russell and William, please feel free to jump in anytime if you have something to add. So here are some common issues that we get asked about Infinite Campus. Before you start doing anything, you want to make sure that you double check the correct school year in the left-hand corner. You want to be sure that you're on the 2021 school year. That's something sometimes that becomes an issue, is just checking the date. And then a lot of times we get questions. I don't know where to enter my data in IC. So there's a great document on our division webpage that is the IC field definitions. So that is a great resource for you all to use and check if that will help you figure out where to put your information. And it's also acceptable for, if you don't know where to document something, it's acceptable for you all to use your best judgment on where you want to put that information. And then when choosing between an individual intervention or a group program, you want to consider which way is going to be the best way to put my data in that's verifiable. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's verifiable data for your center when you're questioning yourself, should I do an individual intervention or a group program? And again, the same issue, I'm not sure how and when to share IC data. So you can create a did you know report by utilizing those reports in IC, your state reports, your group program reports. You can use those in sharing your data. For example, I was going to share that information at a school board meeting. Maybe you have a church that's a community partner. Ask to share with their congregation information, especially if they're helping serve your kids. You know, let them know how many kids you are helping on the weekend food program if they're collaborating with you. Share at a faculty meeting, check with your principal and ask, do you mind if I share my Infinite Campus data at a faculty meeting next week? So if you have any other ideas where you can share these reports, please put them in the chat for the others. We talked about the field definitions yesterday, and Debbie said it wasn't up to date. And I think that that is being worked on. So just to answer that question, that is in the process of being worked on. Another common issue, be aware of when your school district will shut down IC and you are unable to enter anymore. So that's different all across the state. Every school district is different. So you want to be aware of that, because we have had coordinators email that they're unable to enter their data, and then they get upset because maybe they didn't get their last 2 weeks in, or maybe they weren't able to enter a summer group program or something like that. So just be aware when you won't be able to enter that IC information. You can check with your district contact, or you can check with your IC district personnel person. They can let you know that information. And again, that's one of the most common non-compliances with Infinite Campus, is not entering data regularly. Because in the administrative guidebook, it does say you need to be entering at least every 2 weeks. William or Russell, do y'all have anything else to add with that? No? Okay, here's some other IC reminders for you all. Just each region has an IC coordinator representative who can help you. So you can check with your RPM on who that is. So they can, if you're questioning, where should I put this, talk with them, because there are coordinators out there very comfortable with Infinite Campus and who can guide you in the right direction. We also get this question a lot for bullet number 2. Newsletters and flyers do not count as IC documentation anymore. And for some of you that have been around for a while, we used to count those. But that was taken away because newsletters and flyers are just a form of communication. So, and communication isn't an expectation. That's not an intervention. So that was taken out of Infinite Campus for us as FRYSC. And then there's also a new individual intervention roster report you can access now. So if you don't have that, you can get with your district IC personnel and ask them for access. So this is a really new report that's come out, and I think it's going to be really beneficial for coordinators. So if you were to run the report, you would want to make sure that it's confidential, because it will have student names on there. But for example, maybe you have been reaching out to a lot of kids who have 10 or more absences, but you don't remember who they are. So you want to run that report. So you can go in there and run this individual intervention roster report, and it'll give you all the names of who you've made contact with or done an intervention for attendance, 10 plus. Or maybe you want to see who all you have put an intervention in for mental health counseling. You can run that report. It may be easier for you to find instead of going back in and checking on certain students. And then the next one is using the notes section. So that's a really big one that we have to refer a lot.
So Heather, let me jump in on something that's happened.
Sure.
Talking about in the chat for just a second.
Okay, thank you.
We did say you could enter things for COVID specific things that you're giving out information. Yes, we said we did say that was okay. What we're talking about here is newsletter, like a normal newsletter that goes home, or a normal flyer that goes home. With COVID, that's truly leading to the intervention, as opposed to just information that you're sharing, just like a normal newsletter. COVID made things a little different. So as there is a rule, there is an exception to the rule, and that would be the one exception, would be COVID related things. So for everybody that kind of got a little confused or got a little twisted on that, does that help? All right, awesome.
Yes, thank you, Russell. Okay, another reminder. So we tell people to use this section a lot. Use the notes and comments section as often as possible. For example, if you choose academic support for an internet hotspot, include this additional information in the notes section, because we know that hotspots is not listed for us. We know that virtual is not an option right now. So, and you all as a district of coordinators, if you want to decide as a group for hotspots where we're going to document this information, we're going to choose academic support, or we're going to choose it as a school supply. Or maybe as a district, we want to choose hotspots. We want to say it's a utility. It's whatever you all decide as a district, that's okay. But then make sure you include that information in the notes. And Russell, do you mind to share with them about the notes section and keeping it truth-based, you know, simple?
Yeah. So in the notes section, there's a lot of people that have a lot of different ideas. With the notes section, the best thing that I can tell you is deal in fact. Always deal in fact in the notes section. Never put what you think. Never put what you assume. Always deal in what you know. Those records that are part of Infinite Campus, including the notes, including anything that you put in there, all of those things become part of a student's record. They become part of their permanent record, and thus they can be subpoenaed. So if you don't want what is written in that box to be read in open court, I would not put it in there. And again, a lot of times I've seen coordinators put in things like the home was in horrible condition. Well, that's a judgment call on our part. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's a judgment call on our part, because what I think is okay may not be what you think is okay, may not be what somebody else thinks is okay. So always just deal in facts and keep it as simple as humanly possible. But in saying that, use the note section. It is extremely beneficial for you to have that information. So just be mindful of using that note section when you're putting things in.
Thank you, Russell. Also the note section too, in saying that if there's a choice under the individual interventions that you just don't know where it fits, but you're choosing your best judgment on where to put it. For example, if you are giving hygiene supplies to students, you know, and you want to be more specific, go ahead and include that in the notes. You know, you gave shampoo, soap, toothpaste. Use that note section as much as you can. So just to help you, especially when you have a choice that you don't feel like it's fitting. And because a lot of times, you know, some coordinators will choose the other option. Choose the other and then just explain it in the notes for yourself, keeping it as truth-based as possible, like Russell was saying. And then our last bullet, the process for making changes for the IC FRYSC tab is a very lengthy process. We do get recommendations from coordinators all the time, and those recommendations are wonderful. And we definitely wish that we could include them and get them added to IC, but it is a lengthy process. Sometimes it may not be beneficial statewide. So it starts at the cabinet level, and then it has to go through KDE, then it has to actually go to IC. There's all kind of boards and meetings that have to be gone through to make these changes. So it can be difficult to add things. For example, you know, we really wanted to add virtual. We all, you know, wanted that virtual option, but that virtual option may not be beneficial a year from now, or something that we asked to be added may put more work on you all as coordinators in the future. So they try to keep it, you know, beneficial statewide. All right. So moving on to our next one, William has the next one.
All right, the following resources and tools provide insight on how and where to document appropriately. First up, you've got that Google Classroom, which contains the following: the mechanics for entering everything, individual interventions, group programs, and how to create and run ad hocs. If you're not taking advantage of ad hocs, it's very, very beneficial. Next up, the Division of FRYSC YouTube link. This right here has various media-based examples, including archive videos, all the videos that are from that Google Classroom, and then fun FRYSC videos that are covering just a wide range of topics. And then in the FRYSC count section, there's a few items and tools on there to highlight that unenrolled section. So say there's some program you're running and it may have something to do with people who aren't necessarily your students. There may be people in your community or something like that. It's a good way to document those people. The large activity form, then it also has a location where you can upload your certificates and advisory council information. FRYSC counts is a great supplement to Infinite Campus. So if it doesn't necessarily fit there, there's a mode for you to get it in FRYSC counts so you can document. If you'll notice at the bottom of the slide, there's a link there. That link is to access that FRYSC Training Hub. This is brand new. Melissa Newton and Greg Gunn have worked really hard on this. It's like your one-stop shop for all things FRYSC training. So you don't want to miss out on that. So take advantage of that link. And if you're having trouble with Infinite Campus, you can access these resources and tools for assistance. And also one thing that I needed to add is a building messenger is a great IC tool to use when communicating with families, especially if you don't want to give out your contact information specifically. It's a good way to get messages, get information to those families.
So all this stuff is being, sorry, William, all this stuff is actually linked up. And I know a lot of people are talking about building skill. When we ask you what you were looking for today, you're like, you want to learn to build skill. You want to do different things. That's why we included the link for the Google Classroom, because there are way more things than we could have we probably would have bored some of you to death, and we probably would have been over maybe some people not knowing what was going on. So it's actually best for us, we felt it was best to give you guys the link to the Google Classroom, because all of those things are there. Learning how to do the ad hoc, learning how to do the group programs, learning how to do all of those things. All those things are there. So if you need a skill building help, that would be a place to go. That would be a great place to go. And at the end of this, we're going to give you all our contact information. If you have questions, don't hesitate to contact. Don't hesitate to contact any of us. Don't hesitate to contact your Infinite Campus rep in your region. Don't hesitate to contact your RPM. You know, we want to help you. We want you guys to have the best that you possibly can. We want you to have the best experience with Infinite Campus that you possibly can. Will it be emailed to you, the link? Yes, we can email that link, can't we, Melissa? Is that something we can do, or can you throw it in the chat?
Yep, I can put it up in the chat. I put it in the chat. I'll throw it up again in case people have just joined in. I think we are planning to do one of our mass delivery emails, you know, for training information. And so we probably will be sending that out in an email that comes from that CHFS subscriptions, which is kind of our mass email process these days. But I will put it back up in the chat here for folks. And I would encourage you to go click on the link and then just bookmark it. And that way you can get back. You don't have to worry about having the link. So.
Yeah, and it's great information. And again, like William said, you can find it. It's also on the division's YouTube channel. So, I mean, you can find that as well. There's all kinds of resources. And within the Google Classroom, there are documents also, right, Melissa?
Yeah, and so there's a little bit of a difference between the classroom and the website. And so for these folks, I would recommend just going to the website and not necessarily the classroom, because we use classroom for those new coordinators who we have to make sure they've watched all these videos. And if there are any new coordinators on there, you're getting that information now. But the website has everything that the classroom has. You just don't have to jump through the hoops of doing the class code and you know, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah. But yes, there's videos and there's materials, you know, on the website that you can access. So yeah.
So if
just really quick on the YouTube channel, that's where we host all the videos. And so if you're a YouTube person like I am, if you just go there and search for DFRYC FRYSC training, you can subscribe to our channel. That'd be awesome to get more subscribers. But that's where we host all the videos. So we tried to make it so that no matter where you go, you will find training information.
So, and that's what we're saying. Like, so if any materials you want, like any like step-by-step like instructions on how to do this or how to do that, those things should be housed on the website. So that would be a great place. If those are things that you want to, if that's something that you desperately need right now, please visit that website. Please visit the website and it will be there. And again, Melissa just put the site in the bottom. It's a Google site. So she just threw it up in the chat. So I believe we're ready to move you guys on into some breakout rooms.
Can I add one more thing, Russell?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I do know we have an IC expert too, working on a basic guide of Infinite Campus with very detailed step-by-step instructions, pictures. And so that should be coming out really soon. And he's probably on this call maybe.
Yeah, it's here and he's on the call. I saw his name.
Oh, good. Okay, so he's been
here.
working really hard on that. So we want to thank him for working on that for coordinators. And so I'm sure that that will be uploaded to the training hub as well. So definitely check out the training hub if you haven't had a chance, because, you know, for some of us who have been around for a while, this is just an amazing new thing. And it just shows how we are evolving as FRYSC, and we appreciate our training department for working on it. And then the other thing I wanted to add from William about the building messenger, that is something that you would have to, again, request access for from your district, but it is so beneficial. And if you start using it, you will love it. So, sorry, Russell.
That's okay. And Brenda, those, you had asked, where's the building messenger training? If it's not on the website yet, it'll come there. Heather actually has like directions on how to use it. Like she has like step-by-step directions for people. So if it's not there, I don't know Heather, but
I think Melissa uploaded it to the training hub.
So it's there. Those will be there. And I'll be honest with you, until we started doing this, I'd never heard of building messenger. I had no clue that even existed. I didn't know it was a thing. But it sounds awesome. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to throw you guys into some breakout rooms. And what we're going to have you do is we have some scenarios that we're going to have you walk through. So what we'll do is we will throw you into the breakout rooms, and then we will type, like, you know how it brings up that little message at the top. We can type in what your scenario is. But so the first scenario before you go to your rooms, the first scenario is you have a student that is not logged into their Google Classroom all week. Teachers cannot make contact with the students or their family. So what service do you provide, and how do you document that service? So Melissa, if you want to throw everybody into breakout rooms, we're going to be on for about 7 minutes, and then we'll come back.
We have 94 participants.
How many people do you want? How many people do you want in?
It doesn't matter. 7.
We do like 20 breakouts.
Yeah, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, something.
Sorry, I didn't get these set up beforehand.
Okay.
That's all right.
We have like 5 co-hosts on the meeting, so it's no problem.
We've got all kinds of people.
And thank you for everyone who's staying on to participate.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm getting ready to open all the rooms. So y'all will help me keep track of the time, because I didn't get the time set up in here. So.
Okay.
All right.
Does anybody want to share from your last breakout room before we close out for the day? Any good information about ad hocs or anything that you would like to share with the group? Feel free.
We had a good question. I'm sorry. We had a good question come up. Someone said that, you know, like I create ad hocs for my big groups, you know, like I've got Link Crew and JRTC and Craft Club and different things. And I've already got those students all compiled in there. And they had a question, like when they do their food distribution, sometimes that changes, and they was wondering if they could go in and change that. Now I would, you know, if I seen I needed to add someone or take someone off, I would just go ahead and edit it and change it and then save it. And I didn't get to tell her that, but that was a good question.
Thank you, Julia. Yes, you can go in and edit ad hocs anytime. You can add students or delete students. Thank you, Julia.
One of the things I was trying to say at the very end of mine with my group, because I know somebody in our group mentioned about a training on ad hoc would be helpful. And right before we jumped into breakout rooms, I had posted in our chat that if your school's offering, I think the district has to pay for it, but Infinite Campus themselves is doing like a training next week, and they're offering different sessions. And I know that I'm going to be diving into one that's about ad hoc specifically to learn a little bit more about it. So that might be something you want to take advantage of if that opportunity is offered to you.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, David. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you everyone for participating today. We really appreciated you all joining the webinar Wednesday. Here is our contact for Russell, William, and myself. Please feel free to email us at any time if you have questions or want to ask anything. That's what we're here for. So thank you again. And don't forget to fill out your exit slip. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day.
And I will also add that once we get this recording all buttoned up, we will be posting that to the Training Hub and to the FRYSC YouTube channel. And where else do we put it? I think those are the two main places that we put it. So if you want to go back and watch this again, or if you have a coworker who wasn't able to make it, you can point them in that direction. So.
Thank you, Melissa. And thank you, Katie and William, for all your help.
Everybody have a great afternoon.